Good morning. It's early, and first thing I saw, first thing I saw on Facebook, after I fed the kitties and took my pain meds, my allergy meds. Let me read you something. This is about the parade. He actually, in a post, wrote Perade. So this is about his parade. Navy here. Army boned it in by design. No dress uniforms. Out of step while marching. Not caring at all. Upset they have to do this on a Saturday, and I don't blame them. My Army brothers and sisters deserve better than this. And trust me, if the Army wanted to look sharp, they absolutely can. It was definitely a message. Well done, Army. Abso-freaking-lutely. I I said that yesterday. I was saying that that we know they know how to sharply march. They know how to look at complete and focused attention, not just kind of do 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 do. They did perfectly. I knew they were doing their a silent protest of fuck that. This is Father's Day weekend. I should be fucking home with family. Either with your father or as the father. And that was absolutely true. Remember, this was Father's Day weekend. And that was the other thing that nobody mentioned, but I mentioned that I think it was fucking disgraceful that he's got these guys, these people shipped from all over to be in this damn stupid birthday parade. It's not my birthday. It's the Army's birthday. Bullshit. The Army even knew that he was using them as a pawn to make himself look good. And I was hoping they would do something like that. That's why the minute I saw, I wasn't sure if they'd have them freaking carrying weapons or what, which some they did. But I mean, really, they would have been, I'm assuming, unloaded. I don't know, but I was seriously hoping that they would be civil disobedience that Donald wouldn't be able to tell. And I don't know if I haven't seen anything or heard anything of him of saying that he noticed. It just he wasn't happy. So I don't really give a damn if he noticed it or not, recognized what they were doing. Actually, I fucking hope they did. What is he gonna do? Have them all disciplined? Please. Please. He himself, brought it to like the grand scale to MAGA that they were all psyched about it. And even that sad, dismal display, the cost of just that. See, that's the thing. Donald sees these parades in like North Korea and Russia and China and China. Every time I hear the word or say the word China, you have to see it in his voice. It's like China. It's like sounds like vagina. It does when he says it. I don't know why, because he's just a sleaze, but it does. He goes China. Oh my God. But I know most of us believe that's what he was hoping for. the tactile displays, not just the marching, you know, because the man pays no attention. Even if they told him exactly what it was going to be like, what they had planned, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have heard he would have only heard what he wanted to hear, and that is big guns go boom. Um, and he saw France's. But you know, the other countries I mentioned, yeah. But you know, France, yeah, they do great shit. But y'all know they've been around a lot longer than we have, right? I mean, America wasn't America when France was France. Okay, France. What the fuck, Donald? Apparently, he still wants people. I guess he probably really likes France's protest. Maybe that's what he's upset about. That the women out in America aren't protesting the way the women in France do. Well, that one squad that does it topless, but they're painted and stuff. But yeah. That's an impressive display. And I'm not talking about the bare breasts. I'm just talking those women are like definitely military type of like that focus and that intensity of like, don't be pissed at me. I mean, those women, they definitely have badass attitudes on. I'm sure most of them probably aren't badasses every day. I mean, as far as an asshole bitch type of like, she'd kind of be. Um, but that doesn't mean that has to be the part that's always out. You can be a wonderful person just when you need to be that focused, fuck no bitch. You're able to do it. See, that's what I admire. Somebody who's soft and loving, caring, and active, you know, in the regular life. But if the shit hits the fan, they can be a focused, badass bitch if they need to be. See, that's what I admire in other women. Um, that ability to put, you know, the masculine and the feminine together, and each part comes out when it's needed and as it's needed to the level and degree that it's needed. You don't have to go full on woman if you're a guy, you know, in that mode. See, that's where, like, Republicans, this young male crap stuff that's sprouted up. It, it, that doesn't make you manly. At least not to a lot of women. Maybe to the MAGA women, but MAGA women also like to put all kinds of crap in their face and get it sliced up and injected and changed and tightened and pulled. And I mean, I'm not saying non-MAGA women don't do that, but they don't look like plasticine people. They don't. Most people that get cosmetic surgery don't go to the extremes that MAGA women do and that, like Hollywood, you know, celebrity women seem to do. Um, but it also seems to me that a lot of people in MAGA, much like Donald, had this secret wish to be a performer, and they were not either good enough or not welcomed into, you know, the Hollywood or music or whatever it is scene. I wonder sometimes because they hold the same grudge. And we all know Donald wanted to get into. The only reason he was in Home Alone 3 was because I think he manipulated them. Some it was something in the wording or something, which Donald is, you know, supreme at manipulating and lying and you know, just misrepresenting and then bullying when all else fails and people still hold on to their nope. They're like, well, I'll just bully you then, you know. And so they that's the only reason why he was in that. It wasn't at that point. Nobody was happy except him that he was in it. But yes, so just a confirmation. It absolutely was, and it wasn't just the soldiers that made that decision. Apparently, it came from the army. They're like, we're going to take our people away from their families on Father's Day, whether or not they have children. They still have a father. Um, for this crap and spend this much money while you're taking away veterans' benefits, not to mention other people's benefits, the people that they fight for at home, like us. You're taking away our SNAP, you're taking away our Medicaid and Medicare, you're trying to take away, I mean, our health. You know, I'm pretty sure, and any soldiers, any military that are out there listening, let me know. What are the ranks? You can you can do it however you want, but I'd really like to know, because I wouldn't think the majority of the military is like behind Donald or the Republicans at this point. I really would like to hear from service members, past or present. I mean, personally, what would you guys be doing? Um, you guys talk about like the shit you wish you could do to piss them off? I mean, I'd like to hear about that. So if you do, or if you're military or past military, I really would like to know. Like, if you're not military, why am I saying like so much? If you're not current military, would your fellow soldiers that you were serving with, would they have blindly gone with this and just obeyed, or would they have been like, fuck fascism? We fight this shit. I am not doing anything with this dickhead who's like King Fascism over here in America. I mean, I would think that most Americans that take the oath of military service remember, or have by now been reminded by their fellow soldiers, that you do not take the oath to the president or to the party in power. You take an oath to protect and serve your country, to protect and serve and your fellow citizens and citizens of whatever country you're deployed to. That's what your oath is for. And I like that, what was his name? Aaron Fisher, talking to the National Guard. Just, I see your guns, we see your weapons, we see your uniforms, we see all your protective gear. But what we're not seeing is who you guard inside. Because we believe that you're just like us when you take all that stuff off. Who you are underneath all of that is our families and our friends and our neighbors and our co-workers. That's who you are, without the suits, without the weapons, without the face shields. You're us. You're us. And if you weren't in the National Guard or the military, you would be here right now. Because I can't believe that you would want all of those devastations economically to be hitting your families and your friends either. If you weren't military, if you weren't police, you would probably be on this side. I understand keeping order, but deliberately firing gas or rubber bullets when they're not needed to antagonize, to get back at us because you have to be out here because we're out here. We're out here because a dictator is taking over America. You took an oath to the country and to us, not to him. Most of you went into service before he got in presidency again. You weren't taking his orders then. Whose orders were you taking? That's who you still should be taking. Be an Aaron Fisher if you're possible. If it's possible where they're just standing, talk to them. If they're going to shoot you with a rubber bullet, they were going to shoot you anyway. And more than likely, a lot of those folks don't want to be there either, fighting us. Some do. Some are very, very malicious and power tripping and are enjoying it. Maybe some are MAGA, obviously. But most of them, I don't believe, really. Most, I mean, I'm saying most of the cops in America, when it comes down to the line, are you going with Hitler or are you going with the opposites? I can't imagine that those in military and law enforcement wholeheartedly, that many of them. I'm sure there are some, because when I was working in the state prisons in Arizona, there was, you believe me, you ran across the power tripping officers that acted like, not only like they were cops, but like they were God or something. Like they were there to punish the inmates. And I used to tell the inmates, listen, I'm not here to punish you. You being here is your punishment. You having to see me every day is your punishment. You having to listen to me every day is your punishment. I am nothing but a glorified babysitter with a lot of training. With a lot of training. But I'm not supposed to be punishing you unless I find you breaking the rules. Then you get a ticket. You know, you get written up. Too many of those and you go into higher class lockdown. So if you think, well, what the fuck do I care if I keep getting written up? Well, you do, because too many of them, and you're moved to a higher security unit. Less freedoms. Believe me, you'd care. Especially if you know you have years and years and years of this. You're going to care. To some degree. You could lose visitation rights because you're too much of a risk to remove and bring into, you know, they can lose that if it gets obnoxious enough, if they get, you know. So there are things that even make those people stop and think, okay? If there's any possibility at all, and you're somewhere where they've gotten the military in, or the National Guard, if anybody has any of the situations where Aaron Fisher was presented with, the National Guard was just standing there. They didn't have to do anything. They already had too many people. They were just standing there. And the protesters, and he just very unthreateningly spoke to them. And you could see as he spoke, they had their shields down and everything on their helmets. But you could see after about a minute, they started shifting. And I know what standing, you know, at ease or just standing is like for a long time. Especially in those boots, combat boots. That's what I used to wear in the prisons. But combat boots were much better than shoes or the cowboy boots when it comes to defense stuff. But at any rate, I don't blame them at all. And I say, well done. You looked like crap, Army. Well done. Well done. Because they were trying. I told you. They're trying to look like crap. They just don't fucking care. That's what I said. I said they either just don't fucking care, and their bosses were like, just be there. It doesn't fucking matter. Or they decided, fuck that, we're gonna look as crappy as possible. We're gonna look like we were the first day of boot camp. And Army guys, Army ladies, any of you who are there at his parade, well done. You looked the crappiest I've ever seen you look. Well done. Well done. Peace out, guys. You made me laugh. You did. You did, guys. You were hilarious, and I was gonna grin again today, just thinking, knowing for sure that is exactly what you were doing. We saw you. We saw you, Army. We saw you, and we giggled. And we're gonna probably keep giggling for a while every time we see those clips of you guys just like, what were you guys, chewing gum? Were y'all chewing gum? You were chewing gum, weren't you? I mean, even in Correctional Officer Training Academy, that was like one of the biggest first things you fucking learn is marching in unison and no fucking gum. Y'all went back to your boot camp days and it was just fucking hilarious, guys. Well done. Well done.